Hey mamas and friends, it's Sarah the Late Night Coffee Mom and author of the Honey Pot Mystery Series and the Paranormal Penny Mystery Series. And today's video is a little bit of a treat for you guys. You get to watch me stumble through a video where I'm teaching my junior high and high school students how to write mysteries, explaining them how I get set up to sprint and what a sprint is. I wasn't sure how many sprints, especially on video, that I would get done for Nano this year. This might be the only one, so I thought I would post it for you guys to watch and enjoy. Get your stuff ready and let's right on. Hey mystery writers, Miss Sarah here. All right, so I felt super convicted from our last class, and that I prayed about it, and I've decided I will write a short story with you guys at the same time you guys are writing one. I'm jumping in this week. I've got a few thousand words already going on it, and I'll let you guys read it pretty much raw and unedited. I think I'll just go through with spell check, but I won't even revise it. I won't even go through and reread and make sure it makes sense, so you can see what a very rough draft will look like and what I'm expecting from you guys as far as your short stories and your big novels later. So I am going to be doing that, and I'm going to be doing some of that writing right now during this video. Really quick, I want to talk about something I use, a couple tools I use to get my writing done faster. Yes, once I decided to write the short story, I went on inside my own textbook and I plotted it out the same way you guys are plotting it out, in the order you're plotting it out. So I went back and I did last week's beginning, and then I did the middle. And we've talked about this and how I don't normally plot that out. But I wanted to show you what it looks like for me to sit down and write, just in case it helps you figure out a way or inspires you to sit down and write. Most of the time when I'm writing, I use something called sprints. They're also called Pomodoro sprints. I set a timer and I write for that timer, turn it off, and take a break. This is how I do, I'd say 90% of my writing. Unless I'm super captivated by the story, like it's a fight scene, it's a murder scene, it's a mystery, like a high, exciting, climactic scene, I'm usually writing in sprints because my brain just kind of shuts off after a while and I just stare at blankness. And I have learned that for me, 15-minute sprints are usually what works the best on a day-to-day basis. It keeps my brain from not frying. I can usually squeeze out 15 minutes a few times during the day. Traditionally, Pomodoro rounds are about 25 minutes with a 5-minute break, and then another 25 minutes with a 5-minute break. And then after 2 to 4 Pomodoro rounds, you would take a longer 20-minute break and give your eyes a bit to rest, walk around, get your body moving, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to work in sprints today. Another thing I'm going to show you really quick is this is an app I use called the Forest app, where you set a time limit and you plant a tree, and if you get on your phone or if you get distracted, the tree dies. Okay, so I use it to keep me accountable. I use it to keep me going and motivated when I'm working. Sometimes that's what I'll use. Another thing I'll use is I always have like post-it notes. Or these might be way too bright. I have post-it notes. These over here are post-it notes. These are index cards, but they're also sticky on this one. But I use post-it notes and index cards. The index cards, I'll track things like this is a word count from earlier today, so I'll keep track of my word count. But I'll also write down some plot points or some new characters that popped up that I didn't see coming. Another tool I like to use, which I'm sure you guys probably have at home, is a whiteboard. Now, it doesn't have to look like this whiteboard. This is just the whiteboard that I have right here. Anyway, and without you guys reading too much, and you can't really read my sloppy writing and my gibberish, so you really won't know what I'm talking about here. This is the rough outline skeleton of my story. So when we're going into our workbook, we've plotted out specific points. These are some other points that I need for me, okay? So I have my main character's name. I have her best friend's name. I have her the sleuth's friend who works in police or investigative professionals. I have the people that she's going to be solving the mystery for, and the suspects, basically all rounded out. I've got them written down so that when I get to a name, if I'm stumped, it's right there. Okay, so that I've already planned that out before I started writing down stuff. All right, Then I have the basic background to the mystery. So actually what I have here is kind of my villain's story, really raw. See all my arrows and stuff written down really quickly. I'll show you something else I have, because now that I'm writing the short story, I'm actually writing a novel and a short story this month. So we'll see if I burn out. Okay. So this is for a different, hopefully there's not too many spoilers on here for people who follow my Honey Pot Mystery series. But anyway, I am writing my Honey Pot Mystery series book 7, and I kind of chunk it up in scenes, which kind of turn into the chapters. Now, instead of writing and plotting this out, so what we're really doing in our workbook is we are plotting, but we're more like outlining. Plotting sometimes goes a lot into a lot more detail with like this scene is going to look like this. This is the action. This is the reaction, action, reaction, and it keeps going all the way down. And when you plot, some people plot really, really deep, almost like they're making a zero draft or writing the story beforehand before they actually get down to the writing. Me, this is what my plotting usually looks like. Okay, I follow a few basic things, and then when I sit down to write, usually this is like probably a week's worth of writing on here. I just detailed, this is the scene that's coming next, this is the scene that's coming after that, this should come after that, and this comes after that. Usually these correspond to chapters, but sometimes for me, this might become 2 chapters, and this might become a chapter that's in between these 2 chapters because it just flows better that way. So whiteboards, post-it notes, whiteboard markers, and index cards, and a timer. Those are what I have before me, besides my writing stuff, before I start writing. So what I'm advising you do is, if you feel like sprinting with me or trying sprints with me, go ahead, grab whatever you're going to be writing with, whether it's your laptop, your computer, your phone, your papers, pencils, whatever, and we're going to do a mini sprint. We're going to just do a 5-minute sprint and see how that goes. It's a lot like the free writing we do in class, except for you have somewhere to go. I have places I have to hit on my storyboards that I just showed you that I need to write today. So I kind of already know where I'm going. It's not just make it up as I go along. I already know the direction my story is going. I'm setting my timer. I got my keyboard right here. I will mute so you don't hear my keys going clickety clackety clack. They're super loud. And I will see you again in a couple minutes. So let's get this timer started, and I'm going to turn on my Forest app too. Now, just a warning, this timer scares me, and so I usually wind up jumping when the timer goes off. Okay, 5 minutes, my little hoot owl timer. I'm going to hit mute, and I'm going to get working. Okay, time's up. I told you that would scare me. So that was just a 5 minute quick sprint. If you were watching and not typing, then you saw I got a phone call in the middle of it. That's super annoying. That's one of the reasons you need to make sure you tell the people around you that you're sprinting and that for the next 15 minutes, please don't interrupt me. I know that's kind of hard to do, especially as students that, you mean, your parents might be interrupting you. Respect them, be kind to them. But if you go to them ahead of time and say things like, I'm planning to do this writing sprint where I need to focus for 15 minutes with no interruptions, no calling me from the other room, all that kind of stuff, because I got to get in like my brain in gear to write the story down. Most of the time, especially if you've already completed your other homework and chores, your parents are going to applaud you because they're going to want you to get your work done and they're going to be happy you're taking the initiative to get it done. All right. So when I start with a 5 minute sprint, that's when I usually write my whiteboards, my notes on the paper, because I'm trying to get myself to the place where I need to go. That was already done for me, so I just started writing my 5 minutes right there. Let's see, how many words did I get in? Word count doesn't really matter, but it keeps me motivated to see how much I'm writing because I know about how long my books need to be. So word count makes me feel like I'm moving forward and not just stagnating. I wrote 143 words. That's not the best, especially since I got interrupted with a phone call, but it was pretty good. And I've been doing this for a while. You know, this short story that I'm writing right here, um, I don't know. I don't even know what story it is, like 16th or 17th story that I've written like as an adult for the purpose of finishing a story. So, having done a 5 minute one, let's try a 15 minute one and see how you do. I am actually going to text the person who was just calling me and let them know, hey, I am sprinting. Please do not call again or be quiet when you walk in the door. So give me just a second. If you need to alert somebody, let somebody know. Okay, so that is done. Let me get my timer started. You can set your own timer if you don't trust me. I'm going to get my forest to start growing. Let's see. Da, 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 da. All right. Let's go for 15 minutes. I'm going to hit the mute. Good luck. Alrighty, so that 15 minutes is over. You probably caught me jumping again. This leads me to remind you of something. If you're writing on the computer, make sure you're saving your work often. The software that I was using shut down. Oh, just like that did. Shut down in the middle of typing. So you might have seen me scrambling to get it to work again. So I spent a couple minutes getting that to work. So my word count for that one, I'm doing math really quick, was 478 words. That is a really good 15-minute sprint for me. If I sprinted for 30 minutes, you would think that number would double, but it would probably only come out to be about 600 words. 15 minutes is my like sweet elixir of writing. If I do too much more, it just depletes my energy or something, and I just cannot write as fast. So I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to get jumping right back into writing. But that's it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the writing sprints. Maybe you gave them a try. If not, then you were just staring at me looking like a weirdo as I wrote, or you just fast forwarded this whole thing. That's fine. If you liked sprinting videos, there's a lot of sprinting videos on YouTube. Again, use discernment. I don't know who swears, who doesn't. I don't know what they're writing, what they show. There's a few on my channel if you want to check that out. It's just me looking dorky and typing and getting scared at the timer. So those are sprints. And I'll see you in class. Bye.